Well, severe weather season is officially here, and that means first responders need to be ready just in case. Today, hundreds across the state are putting their skills to the test. Rachel Penton live at Grant Medical Center, where a major drill is just wrapping up a major event out there today. Rachel.
That's right, Rodney. It's a worst-case scenario. A tornado has struck Columbus. Grant Hospital is damaged, and there are hundreds of injured victims. Luckily, today that scenario is just a drill. Local hospitals are participating in their annual full-scale exercise. About 300 volunteers were put into makeup to resemble all sorts of injuries, from broken bones to head trauma. The fake patients were brought to emergency rooms where they were assessed by real doctors and nurses. The goal is to make sure each organization is prepared for their role in the event that Columbus gets a tornado even bigger than last week's or any other large-scale emergency.
We'll have a kind of a long discussion around that to make sure that we're always putting the best practice out there, always making sure that we have the best resources available, and always continually improving that.
Now, Grant tells me they had an extra separate staff to handle that drill today, so any patient here today with a real emergency got the same treatment that they usually would. Live near downtown, Rachel Penton, ABC6 News.
All right, thank you, Rachel. The temps are warming up out there, and that means severe weather is on the way. And first responders want to make sure that they're ready in case of the worst. Rachel Penton live with a look at how they're putting their skills to the test today. Rachel.
Yeah, Rodney, last week's EF1 tornado in Grove City, luckily there weren't any injuries with that, but with a stronger tornado, things could have turned out much differently. That's why today local hospitals got together to practice their annual drill. They're acting out a scenario with 300 volunteers. They put those people into makeup to resemble fake injuries, and they brought them into the ER to be triaged by real doctors and nurses. Now, the goal is to make sure that everyone knows how to respond to a disaster with multiple victims, whether it be a tornado or something else like an explosion. They say that having a plan and knowing what to do keeps everything running smoothly.
It would be a little chaotic, but we do have a very good plan in place. We have an incident command system that we use here in the emergency room as well as the hospital, where people are in key roles to make sure that people are moved through appropriately or given the appropriately assigned acuities, and that they're taken care of in the fastest fashion possible.
Now, those volunteers were put into makeup early this morning at the Church of the Nazarene in Grove City. Of course, that was right in the area in that path of last week's tornado. We've seen a little bit of everything today. Some of those actors were acting out anything from collapsed lungs to broken bones, all, of course, to prepare for that scenario. Live near downtown, Rachel Penton, ABC6 News.
All right, thank you, Rachel.
There was some weather outside that tore my arm apart. I don't know what happened.
And saving lives, one drill at a time. How this training is keeping you safe from the storm.
New at 6, we always tell you to be prepared for severe weather. And tonight, we're going to learn how hospitals train so they can save your life during a storm. We sent meteorologist Rachel Penton to Grant Medical Center today to understand what goes into saving lives during severe weather.
It's a worst-case scenario. A tornado has struck Columbus. Part of Grant Hospital is damaged, and there are hundreds of patients inside with injuries. Luckily, today, that scenario is just part of an annual drill.
There was some weather outside that tore my arm apart. I don't know what happened.
Today, this trauma room in Grant Hospital's ER is filled with patients that have all sorts of injuries.
Do you know where you are right now?
Hospital.
Okay. All right, you having trouble breathing?
Grant and other local hospitals practice responding to a code yellow, a major disaster that would involve mass casualties and injuries coming in all at once.
We would pause some surgeries, we would pause our emergency department influx, and we would focus all of our attention on that.
300 volunteers in moulage, mock drill makeup, were transported to hospitals around Franklin County.
Were you near a blast or anything? A tornado? Okay. Did you lose consciousness at all?
They were seen by real doctors and nurses practicing triage, making sure people know where to go and what to do.
What we're hoping to accomplish today is to be able to identify some weaknesses that we might have in our plans, get staff more familiar with the operations of a mass casualty incident, as well as get some education out there for future events and future drills.
Today's scenario was a tornado, but Grant says the plan could also apply to something like an explosion or a plane crash. Whatever the disaster, they're prepared.
If it comes tomorrow, then we're prepared. If it comes in September, we're prepared.
Rachel Penton, ABC6 News.